Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. I hope everybody's well, and a few people in the chat already. So I'd just like to say a big happy birthday to Simon. It is a significant birthday, so it's you, mate. Cheers and all. I hope you've got a nice weekend planned. Speaking of which, enjoy the next couple of days, because if you're in England, because my God, I just looked at the weather a few hours ago for Monday and Tuesday, and it is going to be absolutely hideously hot. It is going anything up to about 40, 42 degrees. That's Celsius. I think 40 is like 102 Fahrenheit for those using the old units, the old school units. And oh my God, that yes, it's not good. So if any of you are out and about, wherever you happen to be, it's going to be in many places, but in England, Monday, Tuesday, please be taking care of yourselves. That sort of heat is very good at killing people and injuring people. So yeah, look after yourselves. I've lived in a couple of countries where it would get up to that sort of temperature, but they're all kind of set up for that sort of thing. Either everything shuts down at lunchtime, or you got air conditioning or whatever. Yeah, we're just not set up for it in this country at all. We don't cope very well with that. Going to turn into David Lynch if I keep doing weather reports, but my God, yeah, it's a long time since I've seen the temperatures going up to that kind of thing. Since I'm working Monday, Tuesday in a miniature food factory, so yeah, good. It's one of the advantages of working in a place like that. It's one of the few advantages is that they have to keep things cool in there. But I did at one point. I worked in a repackaging plant. So basically, it's a bunch of production lines where you'd get pallets of sort of single product, and you'd be making up multi-packs out of that thing. So you'd kind of like, one guy would be throwing on one flavour, another guy would be throwing on another flavour, and oh God, the heat in that place. It was a bloody great warehouse, no air conditioning, no air handling really, and you're right next to machines that are designed to heat shrink wrap a whole bunch of stuff. So hideous. What do you think would happen if David Lynch was hired to direct a movie about Bugs Bunny falling in love with a female duck? Something wonderful. That's what would happen. This heat makes me glad I live in Glasgow. It's mere 18 degrees here. That's much more civilised. It's been about 24 here, I think, at the hottest, which is very manageable. Plus a nice breeze, but it's okay tomorrow. Then it starts heating up on Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, it just goes fucking nuts. That said, I think up in Glasgow it's going to be pretty hot, but not anywhere near the 40s. Dear, heat's in the 30s where I'm at, says Kieran. Yeah, I think that's Sunday for us. Dear, oh dear. Comms rooms are always good. Okay. Used to work in a hot kitchen, so glad I don't anymore. Now that's a hard environment to work in. Absolutely. Twin Peaks. I picked up this thing. A little bit of sexploitation. Australia style. Australia After Dark in the ABC of Love and Sex. I saw it somewhere. I think it was on Facebook somewhere. And I kind of looked around and picked that up. So I'm looking forward to watching that. I've got a bit of a thing at the moment that I'm just wanted to grab a load of Mondo films and all that kind of stuff. And I did find this channel. Let's see if we can get it. Did find this channel down below. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on here, which seems pretty cool. Some stuff that I've not been able to get hold of before, so it's kind of neat. I was considering even doing one of these films tonight, but maybe we'll do it on another night. But some really kind of interesting stuff on there. Africa Audio. Africa Audio is a bit of an ordeal. It's a long one. But I got Mondo Cane Part 2. There's 2 versions on there because one's Italian language and the other's English language. They are different cuts. It's not just dubbing. But there's a whole bunch of stuff on here, like This Violent World, which I'd wanted to see, Shocking Asia. Interesting ones like Magia Nuda. Pretty much guess where that's going to be going. Sweden, Heaven and Hell. I'm very excited to watch. I'm kind of tangentially familiar with that one. But yeah, Cannibal Islands. There's a bit of shockumentary in there as well. But looks pretty cool. I'm kind of looking forward to having a look at that. And like I say, maybe we'll watch something at some point. But tonight it's going to be The Blind Dead. Tombs of the Blind Dead. So yeah, why not? A lot of people have been talking about it. I've never really got through about the first 10 minutes of one, and I just wasn't in the mood to watch when I was kind of had the opportunity to. So we're going to have a bit of a watch of that tonight. I must admit I was a bit bereft of inspiration, but a lot of people seem to be kind of interested in that, so we will watch that tonight. I was thinking about Straw Wiseman today, actually, funny enough. I'm not quite sure what prompted that, but I'm wondering whether or not to take him up on his offer of actually coming and doing another one of his films, which would be kind of interesting with him on board. He seemed to enjoy the last one, but maybe I'll drop him a line at some point. Yeah, Glenn, I'm done with Rob Zombie now, yes. The Monsters trailer. You know what? I mean, I wasn't exactly expecting much. You know my position on Rob Zombie. I think he's great with the music and all that kind of stuff when it comes to the films. His formula doesn't really... excuse me. His formula doesn't really work in film form for whatever reason. You know, it does his artwork, which is always kind of fun and interesting, very energetic. But yeah, when it's but The Monsters, it looks like it's been filmed on. I mean, it's almost definitely been filmed on digital cameras, and it shows. It looks bizarrely kooky. And not in a kind of like, ooh, it's kind of kooky kind of way. I mean, it looks like somebody trying to do kooky, and it's filled with this very localized American humor. And that's not to piss on American humor, but certain aspects of American humor, i.e., kind of like the SNL sort of stuff, doesn't travel that well. I always remember watching. When I saw Wayne's World, for instance, SNL character, and the film kind of worked on an international level, but as soon as I started watching the individual skits that they had on SNL, because somebody had uploaded them to YouTube or something like that, and it was like, I don't get this, you know, and I don't think I've ever got SNL. It's undoubtedly a few bits and pieces that were funny, but with The Monsters, it kind of feels like that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's like kind of like trying to think of the bit, but there's all kind of like kind of things going on. You know, it's like it's very, very strange, and it's mixed in with this Rob Zombie color palette as well, which is odd because I mean, obviously the original was black and white, and I confess I'd only really seen probably 2 or 3 episodes of the original series many, many years ago, so I can't claim to be authoritative on the original source material, but I don't ever remember being very impressed with the original stuff, so that doesn't help. So it'd be interesting to see what Monsters fans make of it, is what I would say. Well, I don't know about that, John, but yes, I think there is a certain trend towards it getting hotter and hotter. It's never quite as simple as that, but yeah, the temperatures are going up. I don't remember it being quite as as bad as it's. Just hope it's short-lived. It is only those few days, and we don't get too many in the ways of spectators. Rob Zombie's visuals are good. He directs actors well. Sometimes his dialogue is good. I wouldn't agree with his dialogue. It's a lot of "oh, you're a filthy motherfucker" kind of thing. You know, it's like I don't know. I mean, the funny thing is, I find the actors that are in his piece, it tends to be the stronger actors who have more of a persona to throw out there, who tend to do better. I mean, out of his entire filmography, I think Lords of Salem was probably the most interesting, and I don't say that as to say that it's a particularly good film, but visually it's certainly one of his most stylish and interesting, how that was put together, and it was one where I think I didn't really worry that much about Sherry Moon Zombie. If there are many Americans in the chat, no offence at US stand-ups always rubbed me up the wrong way. Maybe the deadpan. No, I mean there is that difference, isn't there? And it's not supposed to be insulting. It's just a matter of fact. You go to France or Germany or Italy or wherever, you know, we go down to Australia, the humour's a bit different. You go up north to Scotland, the humour is different to what it would be in London, as a for instance. Humour's a funny thing. Dull. Yeah, humour's a tricky thing, really, to kind of pin down about what it is that makes things funny. And that is one of the things that the old classic silent movies, the classic comedians in that genre of film, in that era of film, had something special there, because they could do stuff that they couldn't do with the spoken word. Never got into Rob Zombie's films, his Halloween films. Let's not go there. Excuse me. Yeah, and I think actually for me, things like the Halloween films are a good example of that, because Rob Zombie does have a tendency to kind of make his characters particularly hateable, and seems to be a decision that is deliberately made. And I don't know if that's because he likes to diffuse the sort of guilt of watching, or the kind of discomfort of watching someone that you actually like getting killed in his films, or if that's just that he enjoys seeing arseholes die. I don't know, but it's wall to wall bastards in his films. It's even with the good guys. I always kind of point to which one was it? 3 from Hell. What's it? Devil's Rejects. It was Devil's Rejects. The end of that, where it's almost like the latter third of the film, you're supposed to be behind the Firefly family, and it's like, no, these people aren't good people. There's no way you can just redeem them by insisting that we like them. It fooled some people, I would say, into thinking that they're cool characters, but they're anything but. They're not nice people, not even that interesting. They're just kind of psychopaths. And some people really kind of, can sit and enjoy that. Personally, I felt it very manipulative, the way he handled the characters within that film, especially with the closing sequence set to Freebird. You kind of look at it, you go, and I used it in a lesson that I did a video for, as a example of poor use of music. It's good, arguably good. Not everybody likes Freebird, but it's a classic track and all that kind of stuff. It has a lot of cachet. It's a cool track, and totally misused under those circumstances, because it didn't relate to anything that was going on in that final scene. I mean, if all it was is, oh, these characters are just free birds, and that's the kind of thing that is an implication when you use music in that way in a film. You've got this cool track about this person who's basically unable to hold down a relationship, essentially, and he's moving on because he's a free bird. There's ways of reading that sort of stuff, but I kind of get the feeling that Rob Zombie sort of took it as, oh no, this person's just free, you know, they're kind of like doing their thing. Well, technically, yes, but is that something you should be celebrating when the rapists and murderers? Wow. Oh dear. Devil's Reject was probably Ozzy's only decent film. Keeps getting directors' gigs, beggars belief. I think he kind of, you know, I don't know. He has a fan base, so, you know. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel bad kind of like saying this stuff about his movies. I don't want to say that. I want to be kind of like, no, his films are really great and all that kind of stuff. Bernard Manning wasn't so bad. Yeah, I mean, it's arguable about, you know, his kind of choice of humour. Considering, I mean, it is incredibly out of date. Freebird is about a bad person. Yes, it is, but I don't think most people get it. Like you say, people don't get that. I think people kind of think of it in the sort of terms of, you know, freedom kind of attitude towards it. Okay. We'll leave the Turkey Baster comment for the comments. But yeah. Like I say, gonna be watching that at some point soon. There's a whole bunch of the Mondo films that I'm gonna be keeping an eye out. I did watch, not Mondo film, but I did watch the new Doctor Strange film, Multiverse of Madness. Found it pretty entertaining. It's very, very, very Sam Raimi. And it's interesting to see quite that much of a director's voice sort of come through, because the only other one I can think of that really does it to that extent would be James Gunn with the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's always interesting when the director's voices manage to sort of come through clearly within the Marvel formula. Is it going to convince me that the rest of the Marvel cinematic universe is going to be as good as the first lot were? They've got some way to go with that. They've definitely got some way to go with that. The internet does seem to be holding up at the moment. But yeah. It's very Sam Raimi. I hope to see buckets of blood and brains, and it's more in the vein of Army of Darkness, is what I would say. But it definitely has its Sam Raimi horror moments. I mean, obviously, it's a Marvel film. It's not going to be graphic evisceration and all that kind of stuff. But is Bruce Campbell in it? Yes, of course he is. He has a little cameo, and he's also in the end credits. Being very Bruce Campbell. Started watching a German horror show called Hausen about a haunted post-war prefab tower. It's tower block. It's pretty damn good so far. Let me make a note of that. That actually. Okay. There we go. So I just thought I'd put that in there. Are there any genuinely gory superhero movies? Actually, if you have never watched The Boys, although it's not really a movie, it's a TV series, that has its moments. And I think there has been a few, but more in the kind of more on the kind of fringes of the popular superheroes. Is his face getting groovy? Bruce Campbell's starting to look his age. Yeah, well, you know, there's no spring chicken these days. Well, none of them are. We all get older. Not much you can do about that. You spot that car that Raimi always includes in his movies. The classic. The Oldsmobile. No, I didn't. But I did sort of, after the scene had sort of come and gone, I'd kind of went, it's got to be in there somewhere. Bernard Manning was actually part Jewish. His best friend, Frank Carson, was Irish. His neighbour was a Pakistani doctor. And when asked about him, he said he was a perfect gentleman. Yeah, I've got no reason to disagree with that. I don't know the guy on a personal level, but his act was, you know, I mean, partly it's looking back with kind of from the position that we're at now. There was a nasty edge to his act, is what I would say. And yes, you know, it's all humour. Are you triggered? Are you offended? He was particularly offensive when it came to his act. Not in the way that some can be, but you know, and it's arguable that he was basically catering for working men's clubs kind of audiences. But there you go. You know, he's not around anymore. It's not exactly something we have to worry about, is it? Watchmen is also very gory if you want something more mainstream. Yeah. Yeah, I was never really blown away by Watchmen, but actually I think The Boys does the whole kind of Watchmen thing better. My brother kind of shoved it on, and basically I was kind of sat there watching this thing with him. Yeah, I mean, literally within about the first 5 minutes of it, a guy gets his girlfriend splattered by this kind of the Flash type character who runs straight through her. She just disintegrates. The guy's just left with her hands in his hands. Zack Snyder. I would say out of all of his films, Watchmen's worth trying. I don't like The Boys or Watchmen much, the movies anyway. The Boys, I thought The Boys was very good. I thought it was interesting because it's really kind of does. I think it does a lot of the political stuff a lot better than Watchmen did. And it's got some interesting characters. It's Carl Urban, who's just fucking amazing in it. But it plays, you know, the good guys are kind of ambiguous in a lot of respects. Some of the things that they do, their approach to the job, all that kind of stuff. There's a really interesting story behind it all, and great characterization. And, you know, when you've got characters like the Homelander, who's this sort of Superman type character, he has the heat vision and is almost invincible, and he's an utter bastard. He's such a nasty piece of shit, and he does it all with this shit-eating grin on his face. That actor just plays him so fucking perfectly. You just want to you want to punch him in the face if it would do any good. A few of my friends adore Snyder movies. One of them claims Ultimate Cut over 3 hours, from what I understand, is the best movie ever. No, come on. Even if I was a Zack Snyder film, I don't think that's a particularly good claim. Come on. Really? Oh dear. Just going to turn my mic down. I think I might be peaking just a little bit. So let's just take that down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Just tell me if that's too loud or anything, or too quiet. Did you ever read Hitman? I created The Boys. It's similar but set in the DC universe. No, I haven't. I mean, sort of, right, okay. I mean, how did he manage that? Is it actually a DC comic? Or is it just kind of using DC type characters? Because The Boys is really kind of a mix. I mean, mostly it seems to be DC characters, funny enough. If you want gory superhero comics, check out Max Immortal and Miracle Man. Okay, sounds interesting. Right, at this point, I'm going to say follow the link in the description. In fact, I'll put it into the chat as well. Let's just dump that into chat. So there we go. That's in the chat. That's the link for the movie tonight. So get yourselves kind of ready for that. What did you think of Dread? Do you mean like the Dread 3D, the Carl Urban one? I enjoyed it. I wish there was. I think it's one that really kind of should have probably be a trilogy. Because it'd be interesting to see a character arc with that. Bit more of a character arc. It does have one in there, but I think at the time it released so close to The Raid, and they are very strikingly similar films in terms of the story. And the fact that when I went to the cinema, it was released only in 3D. Or at least 2D versions were kind of like few and far between. It suffered very bad marketing, and it was in very few places, which is a real shame, because I think it is actually it's a very, very enjoyable film. Probably the best depiction of Dread on the screen. Definitely the best depiction of Dread on the screen. I liked it. I think it hit just all the right tones. Hitman is actually in the DC universe. It had Batman. Really? Okay. Don't forget that like button. Oh, thank you, John. Bring on the Blind Dead. I know. Hello. I guess we're back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. This is a little bit of a result of a little bit of a result of my landlord changing internet providers. I think he went with BT OpenReach or something, and it's been a bit shit. Yeah, he's going to get on the phone with them apparently and have a word, because even he's noticed. And if he's noticed, then it means there's real problems. But there you go. Oh my God. Hope that you recovered from COVID. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, it took a few days, but it's okay. Superman is the only character treated with respect, ironically. All right, okay, now, yeah. Anyone else having connection problems? That is at my end, unfortunately, John. Hopefully, we won't have too much of a problem with it going forward, but yeah, it's been a bit shit. Thought I had no, just it's at my end. So if it happens again, basically just hang around for about 20-30 seconds and it should come back on. Tiresome shit. Anyway, let's get on with the film. So follow that link. I'll put it in there one more time and we'll get started in just a moment. There you go. And start giving me a thumbs up when you're ready, folks. We will start watching Tombs of the Blind Dead, 1971, English. In English. So it was made the year before I was born. I'm a talk man. That's what I heard. We were previously with Virgin. For all their faults, their service is generally very, very solid. At least in my experience. And I've been in about 3 or 4 different places. Well, about 3 other places where we used Virgin, and it was always generally pretty good. Ready. Okay. Nice one, Kieran. Pret. Brilliant. Okay, let's get started. We'll start on 5 and go on go. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. This looks like Monty Python, doesn't it? Go away, I will taunt you again. Released in 1972 year I was born, which seems apt to be my birthday. Well, yes. We share a year of birth, so my birthday's a couple of months old down the way. 3 months, in fact. Fetch it, Lavash. Hello, Gary. Of course, as it's my birthday in 3 months' time, it is also Gary's birthday in 3 months' time. But he's already had his birthday present. And I hope that's going well. This flashback scene was originally later on in the film, but was moved forward for the English dub to speed up the action. Oh, really? Okay. Nearly the big 50, Glenn. Yes. Coming close to half a century of excellence. Ah. I've not seen the Spanish language version, so that's kind of interesting. Are there any death movies? Yeah, they're called Rob Zombie films. Is it James Earl Jones? The torture scene was reused for the sequel Return of the Evil Dead. Right, okay. Simon is the man of trivia today, so good on you, fella. Always giving the Crusaders a bad name. They are rather, aren't they? Typical Templar parties is all sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice. I'd be interested in visiting the location that we shot this in. Well, you know, you've girl's got to take care of herself. Always got to be looking good. Near Madrid. Oh, well, that would make sense. Look at the top right version of the screen at 450 mark. You see a van with a ladder on the roof driving in the background. I'm keeping an eye out for that. Simon, do you know if there's any really good releases of this film on like Blu-ray or something? I think I did. very atmospheric music, isn't it? Oh, Mando de Osorio. See, that's what happens to you when you're out in the sun for too long. This scene on the beach is where the film starts in the original version. And why not? You'd advise to well avoid dating sites. The whole concept has always been a bit weird. Dating on those things is always an awkward experience. I had tried on a couple of occasions, and yeah. Aside from not exactly being the first kind of face that they would go, oh yeah, I'd love to meet you. All I can say is I've got a lovely personality. Oh, thanks for that, Simon. Not up by the church cemetery. I get the feeling that's going to play into this story. You can tell it's the 70s, isn't it? He's really kind of laying it on thick. Hey, baby. Why didn't you tell me about this entirely fuckable young woman before now? Kick the kids in. Are the dubbers tripping over each other's dialogue? It's a funny thing, isn't it, though? Some films really kind of manage to do it well. Other films, not so much. And sometimes it's just skill, and sometimes it's just time and money. But it's a hell of an art of getting that to work really well. It's interesting, like with The Good, Bad and the Ugly, I think it was. A little interview with one of the guys that actually kind of had to do the English language version. And it was tricky. They had to rewrite certain lines to actually make it kind of match up and all that sort of stuff. Having seen that little bit of interview, you get a little bit more of an insight and a bit more respect for the people that have to do that for a living. It's tricky. It's definitely the 70s. God, there's a lot of horny guys in this, isn't there? Cynax Films have released a limited edition US Blu-ray disc with both cuts of the film. Ton of extra bits, very expensive. Wait till they release a standard BD release. Okay. I was worried about being able to do this stream this week, by the way, because the way it was looking, it was supposed to be about 36, 37 degrees around here tonight and tomorrow. But it cooled down significantly. It's still warm in here at the moment. It's about 26 degrees, but I think Monday, Tuesday, I might be watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on loop or something like that. 'Cause it's that's the best time to watch that movie. There's a lot of sexual tension in this movie. Yes. Yes, Minty. There are certain films that are almost seasonal, with, Christmas or Halloween aside. There is something about the watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre when it feels as hot as it is in the movie. English dub is also slightly cut in terms of gore, nudity compared to the original Spanish language version. Okay. It's funny because the British censors, certainly from Furman sort of era, this would have been Stephen Murphy's era, I think. From Furman's sort of era, the nudity wasn't so much of a problem as long as he didn't think it was exploitative. That's not the way to get off your train. Saw this footage. It's like it was in a documentary or something like that, and this guy it's one of these explorer types, and he jumps off of a train. Yeah, jumps off of a train and rolls. It's like in India, and he goes, I don't know what I did, but I might have broken something. I don't know, I did. I'd broken a rib or something. It's like, yeah, diving off a train, even at that sort of speed, is not a great idea. That's my impersonation of a steam train. And no, I'm not going to run around going, woo, woo. Takes some commitment to getting off a train to jump off of it in the middle of frigging nowhere. It's an art of rural Spain. It's my impersonation of a dry ice machine. See, I wouldn't have known that rural Spain didn't have anything other than steam trains at the time. So, a little bit of an education there. I mean, I noticed it was a steam train earlier on, but I was a bit like, why have you got steam trains? It's going to hurt your ego that your company is so unlikable that people jump off a moving train to avoid you. It wouldn't hurt my ego. I'd be quite happy about that because it means I'd get, a double seat at least. Welcome to Hotel Hell. Never ask, is there anyone here? Never. Not in these kind of movies. That might backfire, though, John. You might get somebody who's very, very happy to talk about the Bible to you. You're more likely to get that effect if you kind of like drag out a big old porno mag. Imagine if it was just Jasper the Friendly Ghost. Casper the Friendly Ghost in there, yeah. It's a pretty cool location, isn't it? See, Byron, I've had people come because there was like I'm guessing Jehovah's Witness back in like late 80s, sort of coming around to the house and have you thought about God's plan for you, that kind of stuff. You know, so, no. I don't know if that's still much of a thing. But I always thought it'd be amusing just to sort of open the door and just wearing a kind of like one of those kind of ceremonial smocks and goat's head. Hands covered with tomato ketchup. There's a version of this tacked on introduction called Return from Planet 8, which tried to pass this off as a Planet of the Apes knockoff. Okay. Oh yeah, they're all over the place. They'd be handing out magazines like the Watchtower and stuff like that. That was the Jehovah's Witness, wasn't it? Oh, mind the step. You dated a Jehovah's Witness once. How'd that go? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's lovely, lovely, lovely people who are Jehovah's Witnesses and all that kind of stuff, but all the banging on your door kind of crap was always a bit... That's obnoxious. She was crazy. To be fair, that could have been personal issues. Check around for snakes and shit before you go like, yeah. Sleeping bag. Maybe she's trying to work out whether or not she can smoke this stuff that she's tearing down. Oh my god. Wow. It sounds like she had some issues. It was then that she found out that lighting up the super strain marijuana in an enclosed space was not a good idea. I think John, that little bit of a dusting, a lick of paint, place would be quite cosy. Ooh, groovy. Well, to be fair, Iris, I think she's literally just jumped off of a train in a random place in Spain, so I think she's making the best of a bad situation. Nice, yes. Hello, Kerry. Hope you're well. Cut to stoned off her tits, yes. Ah, the famous smoking graves of Spain. I'm just glad you could make it, Kerry. Oh. The headstones are creaking. That must be what happened to all those gravestones in the graveyard round the back of work. It wasn't vandals. It's the dead rising at night. I smell pot. Oh, okay. That's a mouthful. Monasterio de Santa Maria la Real de Valdeiglesias. I would hate to ask a taxi driver to take. It's a fucking awesome location, though. Who wouldn't want to film a horror movie there? So Simon, perhaps we should do a location visit one year. That'd be cool, actually. Used to work for a government department that deals with graveyards. Man of many talents. Reason so many laying flat is due to safety reason and danger of falling just laying down. Yeah, that's the thing. They do sometimes sort of eventually subside a bit, and a lot of these scenes from Templars rising from their graves is reused in other films. Why does that not surprise me? It is one thing with the European exploitation scenes. They did share a lot of footage because it was cheaper just to pay a studio for a few minutes of film. Of course, the problem with that always was that not always the quality would not always match up, be it the film stock or the colour grading or anything like that. I certainly saw it a lot in in the Euro cine kind of circles, Jean Rollin and Jess Franco and Bruno Mattei and all those guys that we would swap footage, or Joe D'Amato. I really wanted to see a bunch more Joe D'Amato films now that we've watched a few recently. There is something about the Spanish films in particular. They have a very recognisable look in terms of how the footage feels. Yeah, the colour, the graininess of it. So different. So you can often tell a Spanish from a Italian film, as a for instance, just by looking at the quality of the image. There's a graininess, a very kind of almost kind of like a fudgy kind of effect to the image. It's never really that incredibly sharp. It's odd that. Pink Flamingos has a Criterion Collection release. Yes, Kerry has ordered it, and I have too. Although I did order the Mardi Gras Massacre from '88 films, but Amazon cancelled the order for whatever reason, which is annoying. I wasn't expecting the Spanish Templar Knights. Oh. Don't try closing the window again. It's a weird kind of texture to the whole kind of way that the horror's presented in this, isn't it? It's that real kind of creeping death kind of thing. Buried with their horses. That was thoughtful. Yes. It definitely has that kind of nightmare kind of aspect. I'm not talking just in terms of the kind of the whole sort of horror vibe, but these things coming at you very slowly, and it doesn't matter how fast you move, you're never going to get away from them. And that's always, like with George Romero's zombie films and stuff like that. It was never about the zombies being, necessarily a insurmountable obstacle. They were always just in the background waiting for their opportunity. It's just kind of a vibe of that in this. This is a very cool Franco, the Dictator, not Uncle Jesse, a Spanish film, yes. The Cannibal Man was another one, and that's kind of part of why the film has themes which that wouldn't have been allowed if the director hadn't sort of coded them within the movie. So it presents as a horror film, but there's other stuff going on. God, women's shoes suck. Can't they invent a nice practical woman's horror film protagonist's shoe that stays on and is actually kind of makes them capable of running. Definitely has that sort of wading through treacle kind of horror vibe, doesn't it? You know what I mean when it's that whole kind of thing. It's like, well, Nightmare on Elm Street did the thing where she runs up on the landing, first floor, and she starts sinking into the floor, trying to get away. Don't think I Miss You, Hugs and Kisses is the only. I believe that is getting a release at some point soon. Yeah, but that's been one of the hardest ones to get hold of for a long time. I think you helped me out with that, didn't you? Because I'd like to actually see the full uncut version of it. Because I don't think the version that I got was entirely uncut. I got it as Drop Dead Dearest on VHS. Maybe that's the version I reviewed, but that was a cut version as far as I can understand. I don't think much would have been cut from it, but yeah. Nancy up the stairs. Craven didn't want to include that scene. Just got an Amazon delivery. Which bit of the Amazon? Can't have gone far. Huh. Interesting. It's a little dark back there. I'm probably just not seeing it. Drop Dead Dearest was cut. There was a VHS doing rounds in the US, taken from the US release called entitled Left for Dead, which I believe is uncut. Ah, okay. Actually based on a true story though. That. I believe it was a guy called Peter Demeter and his wife in Canada. I mean, the whole thing comes over as being like a made-for-TV film, but it kind of goes... it has an atmosphere which doesn't fit in with that kind of thing, but it really does look like a made-for-TV film. Lampy, where did you hear about it getting a BD release? Oh, crikey, I'm struggling to remember. Somebody said about it on Facebook. And I think I read about it somewhere else as well. I couldn't honestly tell you where I heard about it, but I think it's happening. Let me... Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about it at the moment. Maybe it was wrong. In all fairness, the man's sideburns are you're privileged to bear witness to them. All hail the sideburns. Oh, it is, my God, it's 70s, isn't it? Betty, look here. I've just found a Bruno Mattei porno film being shot. They are mighty sideburns. I'm going to look for that fucking video one more time. Because that's bothering me. God damn it. Ah, there you are. You little bastard. Oh, this could end badly. Nice swinging lamp. It was somebody's job. Somebody got paid to swing that lamp. Bucket grips. Well, he looks normal, doesn't he? Right back, need beer. Missing half the damn film. Don't know why I put those on when I'm talking, because the mic's over there. Oh, what I'm drinking tonight. Oh, was she molested? Strange thing to come straight to the mind of people who were just her friends to start with, but also, no. It's not a crime of passion, because molestation is a crime of passion. And he's the only man qualified. He's the only one in the room with the burns to do it. She just laminates the bodies and kind of like puts them on stands. That's what happens. Chat seems to have paused. Don't know what to do about that, I'm afraid. Tell you what, I'll give it a quick try, but we might lose it completely. Remove. Right. Apologies, I'm going to have to go back to the open screen for a second. We will keep talking. You can still hear me and all that kind of stuff. Go back to that. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that, guys. Okay, whatever. Just tell you what, I'm going to move some stuff around on the screen so I can actually see what the hell's going on with chat. There we go. It might just spring back into life, but yeah. It's this fucking internet connection. It's probably played silly buggers with it. He's not at all creepy, is he? No subtext here. Red light dummies now. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't do anything about the chat. Annoying. Let me just it's still on there, stuck on there, stuck on there, stuck on there. Yeah. Bugger. Don't get people who keep frogs as pets, aren't they boring? How do you spend time with a frog? sure frogs are lovely. Yeah, to be fair, Kerry, I think I don't think it's OBS specifically that's causing the problem. Do mortuaries usually have canaries and frogs in them? Yeah, why not? The hickey of death. Try and get up. Get one more go. Good job they had a local expert on hand. Yeah, I think short of resetting OBS, that would mean I'd have to stop the stream. Oh well, tell you what, I'll just knock it off. And we will see. She's a bit forward, isn't she? Yes, she is. Would it help if I just scribbled it down on a sheet of paper and held it up? It's going to go, there we go. Write down the chat on that. They've rise and kill. They come to rise and kill. God, that's a film I've got to watch again at some point. As I was saying, Lampy, done some Googling. It seems several films have hinted but they will be releasing it this year or next, so it remains to be seen. I thought I'd heard it from somewhere. I couldn't remember who it was. But nice Googling. Simon's Google foo skills are strong. Another murder. Acting. Yeah, I hope they do release it, because I think that'd be like one of the last of the rare ones. Werewolf and Yeti is still pretty damn uncommon. I think it's only as part of a collection box set, which was limited and quite rare. Well, quite expensive anyway. This mannequin of Freddie Mercury is almost ready. It's still not working. I hope my landlord can get this bloody internet sorted out, because I think that's been part of the problem. It's probably dropped off, and basically, because the way the chat works on this is it has to go through OBS Studio. No, OBS, Streamlabs OBS plugin, which I've had to import. So essentially it's going through an account on Streamlabs. So when the internet got interrupted or gets interrupted, I think that can cause issues. Werewolf and Yeti is out in a US Blu-ray disc set, but like you say, it's rather expensive. Yeah, be nice if it had its own release. It's not the greatest film by a long shot, but it is kind of cool. That was definitely one you helped me out with, Simon. That's the thing. When I was doing the Nasties review, some of those films were incredibly hard to get hold of at the time. Some of them we got on YouTube. Some I bought the discs for wherever I could, and then there was just a few which were just almost unavailable entirely. I Miss You, Hugs and Kisses was one. Mardi Gras Massacre was another. That was really difficult to get hold of at the time. Werewolf and the Yeti. And Werewolf and the Yeti, I tried to get hold of the VHS, and I thought I'd bought a copy until they went, no, we don't actually have it. It's like, and that was an expensive one as well. That was like about an 80 odd, 90 quid VHS I was trying to get. To this day, I don't quite know why it was on the Video Nasties list. I don't know what it is, but for some reason I want all those mannequins to come to life and start dancing and attacking to Kraftwerk or something like that. The Werewolf and the Yeti always makes me think of the Fox and the Hound. Okay. Yeah, I guess there's a similar vibe to the title. Now that's a pretty cool fire effect. I expect they did the same thing as they did with Don't Go in the House and Nightmare Maker. Kind of a cool in-camera thing where they basically use a mirror. So put the mirror behind the fire and then point the mirror in the direction of the actress or actor, and then film the mirror so it looks like they were actually in the fire. It's kind of a cool effect. It has a slight Uncanny Valley type thing going on. Not in the true sense of Uncanny Valley, but you know what I mean. Looks sort of real, but it's something about it which just looks a little off. Going a bit tales unexpected here. I have to say with this film, it's got an interesting vibe to it. Is there a killer mannequin movie outside of Autumn's? If not, that needs to be made. There's got to be some, haven't there? Something. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but... I did not know that, Simon. Something about doing streams makes my place get really, really warm. It is getting warm in here now. I was just so glad it's not as hot as it was promising to be, like about 4 days ago here. Friendly guys, these, aren't they? Gonna stand here and look menacing. See, that's the thing with Kurt Russell. He can play kind of like the doofus, the serious badass comedic roles. He's a very versatile actor. And I think it's a lot because he has so much frigging charisma, apart from anything else. Yeah, pistol. It's okay for the ladies. He wants to be together with the macho smuggler. This movie's turning into something completely different. Kurt Russell started off as a child actor in Disney films. Escape from New York was his breakout role. Yeah. I can just imagine him being just so much fun to work with, to be honest with you. But he's one of those actors that's generally stayed in kind of smaller films and cult films. Although he's done some mainstream stuff, it's not that much. And you do get those actors who kind of have made their bread and butter from doing those smaller cult films, that kind of stuff, and they seem to have their feet much more firmly on the ground. Amicus Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. So I'm typing's a little off tonight, but then again, I can't really complain about that because my typing goes all over the shop depending on the situation. Oh, you're heading out to the karaoke tomorrow night then, Simon? A bit saucy and vampish, that one. Yes, she is a bit, isn't she? I want to suck your blood. A lot of people question Carpenter why he wanted Russell to play Snake, given he was known for Disney films. But Carpenter said he knew he'd be right for the role, and he was proven right. Yes, he was. Cool, that was quick. They're both looking a little shameful there, aren't they? Good for you, Simon. It's a very mutual thing, Kerry. I think we're all kind of like pick stuff up from each other, knowledge-wise. Knife versus zombies. Well, excuse me, this is a no-smoking cemetery. They all come out with whopping great big bongs. The stone dead. Well, that makes sense, Simon, considering the look on her face. But yeah, earlier on, wasn't she going on about kind of like, no, it's a different one. They spend so much time just looking at these things instead of going, fuck, dead person. I ain't much of a runner, but I think I would actually kind of put Linford Christie to shame. Yes, he does, Simon. I think Simon's probably the best to answer that question. God, such a tit. Foot massage, sir. Now these zombie things are kind of like, they're very skeletal. So eating someone, it's just going to be like kind of like, I. Seems kind of redundant to me. Tunes of the Blind Dead, Return of the Evil Dead, Ghost Galleon, Horror of the Zombies, and then finally Night of the Seagulls. Thank you, Simon. Gonna have to see if I can find the other ones of these. The way she attempted to shoot the undead was the less useful. Yeah, I shoot him in the head, blow off their jaws, or shatter the entire skull. They can't really do a heck of a lot. They're hard to find. This one and the second one are on YouTube, but the other two no. Okay. Will you go away? We're trying to have a cat fight in here. Ah, oh, dear. Tell you something, I'm looking forward to getting a new seat. End of the month, new seat. Considering this was an expensive thing, the one I'm getting is a bit cheaper, but should be a lot better. Two different cuts of Return of the Evil Dead as well. The English language version was more common, but was cut down for gore and for time pacing. I really wish they wouldn't do that, cut out the gore. It's very judgmental, isn't it? Ah! Drama death. Living on the Coast, Night of the Seagulls definitely sounds like a horror film to me. Yeah, seagulls on the coast are bastards. Right, little bullies. That's mostly because people have been feeding them for donkey's years, and yeah, they get a little bit above their station. English language version of Tombs was done by US distributors, hence why it's rarer. English language version of Return was done by European producers, so it was more common. Okay. Oh, I see how they need to avoid it. They just need to have a boombox on. Play some obnoxious heavy metal. Play some Rob Zombie, yeah. I played the soundtrack from Demons. Can you imagine if you're like your way out of this nightmare horror situation would be to play Rick Astley? Never going to eat you up, never going to chow you down. Rickroll in the Blind Dead, that would be amusing. Yes, I think it would be. Oh, see, it was all foreshadowed. Wait for what? Big mistake, lads, yeah. Go, get on your feet, woman. I said, just sort of drag her along there. He's been very casual about it, isn't he? It's... Cosplays in the countryside, yeah. And the way to get rid of them is you get the concessions cart, you start pushing it down the aisle, and when they see the prices, they run like fuck. Because even, medieval dead people are not going to pay the kind of prices you have to pay for a can of Coke on a train. Strangely, they respect they can't go to first class. Well, was it worth it? And all the dead people jump off the train as soon as they realise that the next stop is Preston. This massacre scene has been cut slightly too. Yeah, don't surprise me. I don't know why, but this station looks like the same one that they did late night trains where it stops. Don't know why, it just kind of popped into my head. Dead man's handle, yeah. I like the fact that the train was actually going slow enough for that guy to be able to do that. It goes dead on top of Richard. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. God, the prices of the cans of Coke. Nice one, Bill Harris. These puns are terrible. But so on point. Well, I have to say, I rather enjoyed that. Dear, oh dear. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. We'll see, maybe have a look at the other one at some point soon, all that kind of stuff. I think that would be kind of fun to do. Yeah, I'm going to have to look for them in their uncut form at some point. I have to pick those up. Still got to get Mardi Gras Massacre, though. I've got to reorder it at some point, because I definitely want a decent version of that. I say decent version. It is what it is. Guilty pleasure movie, 100%. Oh, God, Jimmy Savile. Isn't it amazing that guy still comes up in conversation? Holy shit. Hello, Kieran. Film's finished. Would like to see an uncut version of that, yeah. It is different, Adam. It's a real kind of old school type horror vibes with just that kind of little twist of bit of splatter and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool. Maybe it's already been mentioned since I wasn't here, but the version we saw was a severely cut version. Yeah, Simon was saying it's a cut version. But even in the cut version, that's kind of cool. I kind of enjoyed that. I'm glad I chose that tonight. The channel that's on is actually quite a good channel as well, so just gonna vintage 1970s and giallo. So worth having a bit of a scan through there. So if there's any suggestions of stuff that you want to watch, that's a good source for it. And but I think next time that we do a film, whether that's next stream and all that kind of stuff, I might choose a bit of Mondo. Let me know on Facebook what you think of that. I'm kind of thinking there's a couple. We're back yet? I think we might be back. God damn it. I think that's probably a good cue. I'm assuming that you can hear me at the moment. It hasn't reconnected entirely with YouTube from my end. At least I'm not seeing the feed. This internet sucks. My landlord's got to do something about it. He took a chance and he jumped ship on it because he thought that Virgin was too expensive. Oh well. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we're back. Sorry about that. Definitely got to get the landlord on that because this is shit. I was a bit anxious when he said that he was swapping over to, I think it was BT, he said. And it was like, nah. Anyway, we'll call it an evening there anyway, because quite frankly, I can't be asked to deal with the internet issues. I apologise for the couple of dropouts. Not much I can do about it other than running a fuck ton of copper from here all the way to California, which I'd almost be willing to do. Anyway, we'll see you on the next stream, which I believe will be next week. Should be next week. Should be no reason why I can't do one. thank you for joining. This has been a fuck ton of fun. I've enjoyed that. I enjoyed the film and enjoyed your company. So I'll see you guys on the Ramblaholics, and I will see you next week on here and all that sort of stuff. So take care, folks, and have a lovely weekend, and just be careful on Monday and Tuesday if you're in England in general. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.